welcome to this week's Mental Monday. So for this week, I wanted to touch on something that I think gets talked about a ton, but that it doesn't get talked about in a variety of its forms. And what I mean by that is there's one specific situation it's talked about the most in. And what I want to talk about is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So the gist of what PTSD is there's a traumatic event that you experience, and then that experience has really, really major effects on you after that, where you can get triggered to re-experience it by different smells, different sounds, words that people use, and that then brings you back to that situation. You re-experience it, it re-traumatizes you, and in some moments it can feel so real that it is very, very painful and very scary. And I think the biggest example of this is in veterans who have fought in a war or been in a war zone, and then they come home and they hear fireworks on 4th of July, and it immediately sends them back to that, and it's scary. It is extremely scary. But what I don't think it's talked about very much is the other situations that can send you into moments of PTSD. And I think you can have moments of that without actually having PTSD in the full concept of PTSD, but it's the same idea. And I think there are other forms where you would be diagnosed with PTSD, but not in that circumstance. Different circumstance you would have it in. And the ones I'm specifically thinking of are for loss, grieving and loss of a loved one, along with things like car accidents, large scale disasters. Things like that can be just as damaging in that way. My biggest personal example would be losing my brother. I've talked about it a bit. There were moments I had that were very PTSD-esque right after we lost him. I couldn't drive a car without zoning out. It was a little traumatic. It was a little scary. It felt a little too real because he died in a car accident. Seeing car accidents after that were very hard for me. I generally could not handle it. Watching videos of it, like in movies or anything like that, really, really super hard for me. In a way that brought me back to re-experiencing the loss of my brother and imagining what happened in that moment with him. It's hard for your mind to not go there when it's a loved one and you know enough details to imagine, which is horrible and very, very hard, but it's that same concept of something triggering you to going straight back to that experience and it being kind of re-traumatizing and really hard and really painful. Another experience I can see that happening with would be the large-scale disasters like I talked about, hurricanes like Hurricane Katrina, terrorist attacks like September 11th. All of those are very traumatic events, very, very traumatic events, and on large scale. And I think that probably left a lot of people struggling with PTSD. I also think a major car accident could be very PTSD inducing because you are easily able to experience moments that could trigger it, whether it's you are driving for the first time again after that car accident and you're a little nervous, that's going to happen again, or seeing a car accident or hearing the sounds of a car accident can be extremely hard and all bring you back to that moment. And there isn't a ton talked about as far as those other situations. Veterans have a very specific and very major experience as far as PTSD goes. I think it's the most talked about situation of PTSD occurring with great purpose and reason. I think overall this is something that isn't very well addressed, and I think especially in veterans, we have not given them the infrastructure to come home from those bad environments and traumatic things they witness and reintegrate into being home and what life at home is like, and given them the resources to work through everything they had to see and go through and experience and everything they had to do themselves in that circumstance. And I think that's something that really needs to be more addressed. I think our mental health system just does so much to focus on the problem of PTSD once it's occurring, and not enough to do earlier intervention to help work through those triggers quicker to help relieve those PTSD symptoms and make it a little less re-traumatizing over time, a little less painful and more difficult, and to really assist them the best way we can in working through that. I know there are a ton of experiences people can have that can give PTSD. Being a victim of an assault in any way could be just the same, and I think this is why it's such an important topic, and one that I kind of wanted to shed a different light on that is normally shed, but still give respect to the biggest one that's talked about, which is veterans. I fully respect and empathize the veterans' experience, and I am extremely grateful for the work they do, and I think we could all benefit from better care of PTSD issues and the situations that bring that up, and just mental health care in general. So I shared my experience. If you would like to share yours, I would love to read that in the comments and see people reaching out for some support. I hope you liked this video, and I hope it helped you in some way. If it did, give this video a thumbs up and share it with everybody. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, click the screen and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!